So why you might be struggling with consistency. So I hear, the self-care routine, like being implementing things daily can be challenging. And then also like when you're in the moment, not really thinking about what you can do, um, are some of the biggest challenges that people have in this space. Some other things that come up around consistency. Um, Oftentimes we are trying to work harder and not smarter. I'm big on working smarter, and we really just don't need to be working hard at all if we don't have to. So oftentimes we're focused on things that we cannot control, like things that are outside of our control, other people's behaviors, sometimes environments, things of that nature. So that might be one of the reasons why consistency is going out the window. Another challenge is you're using strategies that don't involve sensations and emotions. So sometimes people are implementing behavioral techniques or thought work like mindfulness, affirmations, gratitude, trying to focus on goals that are behavioral oriented. And if you're in high distress and your threshold is you're outside of your window of tolerance, which I'll go into in a minute, it won't be effective because you're too hyper aroused, right? So like what Keita was saying, like sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, the part of your brain that can think about like what to do in that moment just goes completely offline. It is shut down, is not even active. We are in California, that part of your brain is like in Hawaii or something, like somewhere, right? Suppressing difficult emotions and triggers. So sometimes what happens is, you go throughout your day and there might have been a stressful moment, but you put it to the side and you don't address it later. So it's just like, okay, that wasn't a big deal, or it was a big deal and I don't have the capacity to deal with it. So it can be one or two extremes, right? Like, oh, it wasn't really that big of a deal. And I was actually connecting with a colleague earlier, and there was some stuff that was going on in my personal life. And I was like, oh, I'm not affected. And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, oh, why am I really tired? Oh, I was affected, right? So sometimes you can minimize your experiences and not really recognize the impact that they have on you. The other thing that could be impacting consistency is you're using the Band-Aid approach to healing. So sometimes we will only use coping tools when it's time to cope, right? So on the day-to-day, on the week-to-week, we're just kind of functioning and walking through life and not really addressing things. But then when something gets out of control or we're feeling off balance, then we implement a strategy. So that could affect consistency. Sorry, because I can't see. Another reason is we wait for the circumstances to change so we can feel better, right? So waiting for other people to change, waiting for waiting to get a better job, waiting to take the flight, all of these kinds of things. I'm not saying that those things are not effective. Sometimes you do need to change your job, and sometimes vacations are helpful. And also, like, if the circumstances are changing and you still stay the same, then that might be affecting your healing.